Hello beautiful faces, welcome back to this channel, and if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Kelvin the Skateboarder. I love Christ, I'm a born again believer, and I love adventure. I'm most known for skateboarding and I love motorcycles as well. You guys know how we like to do it, so let's get right into it. Let's go out for some adventure.
Hi, my name is Kelvin Murage and I'm a pro skateboarder.
Welcome back. Let's get right into business. So you might have noticed, or some of you may not have, but there's a rooster outside that is that rooster. But anyway, hey, kind of reminds me of the farm life where I grew up, and I am going to be talking a little bit about that, even just how I came to this whole skateboarding business and who am I. So I was thinking today of talking about God's sovereignty, but then I decided why not just first do an introduction of how I came to be Kevin the Skater. His name is George. The minute I found him, I was so excited. I just started asking him everything about skateboarding and he just let me in. Fast forward, by that time, I was in the Christian Union, but this whole time, I was still looking for God. I feel like I had not understood God, had not fully found him. Like I was getting all these promises, the guys telling me things, telling me that, but I just didn't feel like I had connected with him. Like I just really didn't understand him. So by the time I was leaving high school, I left in the same state, despair, disappointed. But when I left school, there was a church just nearby, and it was just a local Anglican. I started attending there for a while. After some time, I realized there was such an emptiness in my heart. It felt like a hole in my chest. I just couldn't get rid of it. And so I tried joining the youth group, like meeting with them during the weekdays when they would meet up. Honestly, none of this filled my void. So I decided, you know what, I can't do this anymore. God, I know you're there, but please come find me. I'm just tired of looking for you. I still believe in you, but please come look for me. So I stopped going to church at that point and just went on skateboarding. So every Sunday I would meet with the friend that I had met in school and his older brother, because they used to skate on Sundays as well. You know how Sundays is in Nairobi, and it's clear, it's perfect. So we just wake up very early, get to town and start skating and filming all those empty spots. Oh, it was glorious. Did that for a while, still just trying to keep an open mind, and then finally it happened. I went to the University of Nairobi, not as a student. We were just skating those days. Yeah, it's a few years ago. And just putting the street. Guess what? This one guy, he was huge and he was Ukrainian. And I remember his name was Bagdon. He came up to me and he was like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, my name is Bagdon and I have a skateboard back in the States." I was like, "What? That's so cool." And so he started asking me about skateboarding. We started talking about tricks here and there, and we had a really good chit chat. I mean, you can always know someone who's a skater. You just can't fake these things. We really became close in just that one session. And before the conversation ended, there was a guy just standing behind him, a friend of his. So his friend came over, started listening to the conversation, and shortly also just started engaging. Now, he wasn't a skater, but eventually Bagdon told me that they were missionaries and they were serving under an organization that had sent them here, and so they were just talking with students. So at that point I was really excited, like, wow, a skateboarder who is a believer. I felt like, dude, like, that's like me. Eventually he invited me to one of the sessions. So the other guy was holding a Bible study in one of the rooms, so they invited me the next Thursday to come and hear what they had to say. And being in a place where I was still looking for God the entire time, I was so stoked, I was so happy, and I just couldn't wait. So the next Thursday I went to the first session, and when I got there, I'm the only one who's not a student, bunch of random weird guys. I left my skateboarding buddies where I was comfortable, but I just felt that I needed to be in this place. Now, the guy, his name was Ben. He simply just explained the gospel in such a way that it was so simple. It felt like it was the very first time it was hitting my ears. Now, a little bit fast forward, backtrack. Yeah, going back to the past. I think when I was in class 5, I had accepted an altar call, but I didn't feel like there was much change. I didn't see much change. I thought I was saved. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, coming back to this present time now, back in the University of Nairobi. So the guy explained the gospel, and this is how he explained it. So he explained about what faith is and what trusting Jesus is, and he gave the example of a chair. Where he was like, this is a chair, right? Now I can say that if I believe that this chair can hold me, what do I do to it? I actually go on and sit on that chair and prove that I do believe the chair can hold me. But if I say the chair can hold me and don't actually go on and sit on that chair, do I really show that I trust the chair can hold me? No. And so he went on to just explain what the gospel was, and it felt like this was so new to me. It felt like all my years I've grown up in a Christian home. My mom was a believer and my dad wasn't, and neither was my brother. So I grew up in just where my mom was the only believer. She took me to church, and in school I did CRE and all that, and I like calling it common household Christianity, whereby you really don't get so much of how the Christian life looks like. You kind of go and figure it out on yourself. So you just I mean, yeah, you read about it, but most of the times I don't think we have really a good, I don't know, it maybe just hadn't hit me yet at that point. Getting back to University of Nairobi, with Ben in the room, him explaining the gospel. At that point, it felt like, you know those puzzles, those picture puzzles you have, and you have so many pieces all over, and then, so it's kind of like you have puzzles in your head, they just jumbled up, and then in one instant, like everything just forms, and finally, alas, you can see the picture. Like, it finally made sense. This is what Christianity is. This is what it means. And I was like, how come no one has ever told me this? Where was I? Where were you guys all my life? And from then on, they hooked me up to a guy, a missionary as well, who was just discipling guys, and his wife was discipling the ladies, and meet up as a group. They would take us through the book of Mark, and we went to national parks. We had so much fun, so many sleepovers. I really miss those times. And then they plugged me to a church where they were fellowshipping, and I started going. And the minute I landed in that church, which is still my current church, so the minute I landed at the church, I felt at home. And finally, that void that I have been feeling this whole time in my heart was gone. Poof. I didn't feel it anymore. And so I couldn't wait to get baptized and become a member. One, I'm not too sure, but maybe this is the time that I became a believer, when I first had the gospel, the true gospel. And mind you, coming back, the gospel that I grew up in was the prosperity gospel. And remember, it's about money, health, wealth, and happiness. About living your best life right now, which unfortunately is still the most prominent false gospel, false doctrine out there. And it broke me, it shattered me, and I'm sure there are so many of you who are still fallen ill on this. A preacher came, someone came and promised you that in such and such a time you will get a good job, you'll get money, you'll get this and that, you'll get well, and none of that came to pass, and you ended up blaming God. God didn't do his part. Coming back to the story, I started seeing change. I started noticing my sin. I started seeing my weaknesses, areas that I knew I needed to change. But the beauty about it is the Holy Spirit is one who works in us. We call that process sanctification, where it's the continuous killing of sin day in, day out, till the day we die. Paul talks about it as well. So I can say, even looking down all those years down the line right now, I can see a very huge difference. I can tell you this. I mean, every day I'm still being sanctified. There's still a lot of weaknesses in me, but one thing I can definitely say is I'm not who I was back then. Like, I can look back in my life and see that there are a lot of things that God has done away with, and there's a lot of things that He's taken away. I can see a lot of change and transformation, and I'm sure even those around me who've been with me the whole entire journey can attest to the same. So shortly after that, I ended up in Blaze, Safaricom. It's not something that I was even dreaming about, but I feel like this should be a story for another day. Maybe not so soon, but yeah, I might make a video about it, how I ended up in Blaze and how this happened and how I got to where I am. But I really don't want to focus on that, because none of that really matters. What I do believe matters is, and I want that to be the main purpose of this channel, is just share as much as I can about Christ, about Christian life, things that I wish I knew growing up, things that I wish someone told me. Because I want to keep this video short, I'm going to end that there, and you better stay tuned for more in the next vlog. So please like the video, subscribe, and yeah, there's like a little bell on the side just next to the subscribe. Click on that as well, so that the next time I post a video, you do get notified. So please subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.